Greetings, this is Vlodril and welcome back to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity. Alright, let's talk with Durance. Does something ail you? I had questions I wanted to ask you.
If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skinning your knuckles on the wrong door.
I saw something strange. You were sitting by the fire and I saw a great light from your staff.
Tell me what you saw.
It was a flash like an explosion, a rushing of air incredibly bright.
It is the light of the God Hammer you saw.
Huh. What? The God Hammer, what about it?
It was a weapon of Deerwood's people, a symbol of their independence. It saved the Deerwood.
What do you know about it?
It brought the Saints' war to an end, knocked a god from his perch. There are few that would deny Aothis overstepped. The God Hammer reminded Aothis of it. You saw its light because I helped shape it, give it life, and release it into the world. Once seen, its glory is almost too bright to be believed, and too bright to be forgotten.
You helped build the God Hammer?
There were 12 of us. We fashioned the weapon, drafted plans for it, prayed for guidance at Ashfall, and it came to me there. Each of us were given a staff made from the forest of black trees around us, glowing with embers and fire far greater than this branch you see now.
By whom?
It felt as if the staff was Margaren's own finger, guiding my hand, guiding the other 11, the shadows of the 12 who had come to stand on the bridge to stop Aothis.
So, was he one of the dozens?
Even in that stand, there was a ritual to it. For the 12 that stood on the bridge, there were a dozen shadows cast, a dozen faithful of Margaren, her fiercest supporters and shapers of the God Hammer.
Durance rests the staff in front of him, and the flame atop of it curls for a moment. The light flaring slightly, it splits into a ring of flames, one after the other, until a dozen is met.
As 12 held Aothis fast, we 12 unleashed our prayers and let the God Hammer fall.
Then it blossoms brightly once more and resumes its candle intensity. In the aftermath, the shadows seem sharper in the vicinity, as if they have edges, and you blink to clear your vision. Durance is still staring at a tiny candle-like flame intently.
Shadows cast by the fire of the God Hammer, perhaps. And we shared their fate as well in time. Now the spine of the Deerwood is marked by the God Hammer, marked by Margaren.
What do you mean, share their fates?
Not all deaths come with stilled breath and stilled heart, or other stilled passions beneath the waste. Some deaths come from silence. The connection we once shared with Margaren, after the light of the God Hammer, it was not the same. It was as if we'd lost our senses, and sense of purpose as well. Instead of victory, being welcomed, there was silence, within and without.
So I guess they were guided by another god. Take out Earthas.
Not many can claim to have killed a god. It is less a heroic tale than you would think. And such a death, it changed our faith. All faiths, I expect. Doubt followed, and the world changed. I do not believe Margaren was pleased by what we had done.
Didn't she put you up to it?
The world is broken, the wheel stilled. There is sickness in the world's heart, perhaps the price of crossing a god.
That's why probably there is no rebirth. Or that's what they think anyway.
Crossing two gods. Even as Margaren shaped our hands, perhaps we carried her will farther than was allowed. Just as Widewind did. Saint Widewind. Mortal arrogance to match mortal arrogance.
So basically he's saying that the guy that Earthas got into, he started taking it like he was a god and took things further with the purges, etc. Something that Earthers didn't want, and they instead took things further than what their god wanted. So now the gods are pissed.
Yet if the world had changed, then I sought to change with it. If I had forgotten some of Margaren's teachings, I would find them again. I would make her see me again.
What did you do?
I remembered Margaren's teachings. How reminders on the flesh were more important than the death of a vessel. And I wondered if killing Aethys, if that had simply set him free. Had it allowed him to escape his punishment and be taken on the wheel? Like a mortal? As I stepped from the now blessed Godhammer Bridge, I thought of Ashfall. I thought of the War of Black Trees, wondered if I needed to be burned to find myself again. That is Margren at her heart. At least that is my hope. These are the doubts that befall me.
What happened when you returned to Ashfall?
The road to Ashfall is long, gives one time to think. And if you think long enough, you do not go home. I left without telling anyone, with only the robes I wore at Halgot, my staff, and my name, which is long buried. Of my fellow 11 craftsmen, disciples, I know not what happened to them, if they suffered the same doubt as I did. But it was underserved. It was wrong.
Wow.
We had done all that Or had asked. Grab victory from defeat and...
You feel as if your god has betrayed you.
There is something about being used and cast aside. Perhaps Widewen himself felt it. There at the end, when the hammer struck. To be the proof that your god is hollow as the vessel it inhabits. I tried to find purpose, and avoided all contact with other Magranic priests. Did not seek the walls of Ashfall, and sought to make amends to my god through actions. I joined with the Purges for a time, and not long after came the first signs of the Hollowborn. So many crimes, trespasses, violations. The Salvation. Animancers were another sickness born of the Saints' War. A relapse of innovation, of desperation to heal what we had caused. All seemed worse than before the bridge, not better. And as years passed, the world became even worse still for the victory.
Maybe the purges weren't what Magran wanted either. Sweat collects in the sooty creases at his forehead and runs down his ruddy cheeks. It drips from the tip of his nose. His mouth moves, but his utterances make no sound. He is, for once, at a loss. Feeling your gaze, he quickly composes himself, wiping his forehead with the back of a dirty hand.
Worship the whims of some fickle bitch, and you'll never be more than dirt beneath her feet. Worship what she worships, on the other hand. Take her fire for your own, and her esteem comes on its own. Of course, by that time you no longer need it. Trial and transformation, sure as Durance taught.
Durance glares at you, and staring into his eyes gives you the feeling of peering over the edge of a great cliff.
You think to put the coals to my feet, but what's burned once will never burn again. These talks are your trial, Watcher. You cannot deflect the truth to one who has already been purified by it.
Tell me what happened on the bridge. We chose the bridge because we could control it. It was a place where we could choke Eothas in his own footsteps, where we knew his feet would fall, a narrow neck of stone. But it was more than that. It was the spine of the deerwood, symbolic of its backbone. Such symbols are important in the construction of a weapon. Any weapon. I suspect Eothas knew that as well, and so did his vessel, in its arrogance. He intended to walk upon the bridge as if walking on the backs of the deerwood, and we intended to burn him with the light of our faith, and his, 12 on the bridge, 12 the shadow, and gave ourselves to it. Gave yourselves to it.
We put much of ourselves into the Godhammer. Such a device is not simply a machine. There are elements of the spirit in it. Even Widewind's spirit.
Widewind, why?
We all studied Widewind. He was our enemy, and he had provided the flesh the god wore as a cloak. That flesh made him vulnerable. I knew what fields his hands had tilled, his family, what he had harvested, where he had been born. We sought to know him, what had led him to fight us.
Why was that important?
You don't kill the god. You kill the man it inhabits. And you leave that man a ruin. Burn him to ash. The weapon was meant to not only burn his flesh, but it would burn his soul. And it did. At the
That was
cost
a
of
problem,
our
I
own.
guess.
And at the cost of our goddess's favor. That whore be damned.
Is that why your image was blurred in the dream? Euron's frowns glares at you with a sharp look. Perhaps your eyes were blinded by the Godhammer's light, Watcher. I may feel half a man at times, but even that is twice out of most others.
If you fear for my spirit, your fears are baseless. The Godhammer, seeing its light, only fueled my anger and made me stronger, made me re-examine the teachings of Margren, put them in a new light.
This is a fantastic conversation, by the way. It looked as if it was only part of you, as if your spirit had been seared in half.
I do not need you to cast any more questions on me, Watcher. Nor did I ask you to look upon me without my leave.
He didn't like
Get
that.
gone and leave me be.
That was fucking awesome. And again, that is very Torment Dakon thing. Minor adventure added. This quest expires in 3 days. Oh, cool. Oh, come on. Taxes collected. All earnings were lost to bandits. I need to make the... well, I'm making it. The hirelings. Okay. That was fucking great. Again, Obsidian has done a fantastic job so far with the game. Really above and beyond what
I'll
I
see
expected.
what I can find.
And I had big expectations. Helig of Thane. Didn't someone talk to us about Helig of Thane? I'm pretty sure they did. A lone figure... was it that wizard? I think so. A long figure in tattered robes shuffles across the chamber, muttering under its breath. As you approach, the figure halts and swivels its head towards you. Its haggard visage is a labyrinth of wrinkles and sores, overgrown by a moss-like beard. What's this? What disturbs Helig's work? You are Helig? Dalton sent me to look for Rowena. He leans back and bursts into a raucous laughter. His threadbare robes drift apart, revealing an amulet and a ragged wound running from chest to throat. Wow. That old fool is still alive. I do hope he still doesn't bear a grudge for that incident. It was so very long ago. What happened to you? What, this? A long story. I was one of the first animancers in the Deerwood. Practiced necromancy too, which is what put Dalton and his workhorse rangers on my trail. What can you tell me about? Only that it's a miracle or a joke of the gods that he's still alive. The only thing he loved more than his fetching lieutenant was the idea of his own legend. He said you killed Rowena and the rest of the Northwatch Rangers. Did he mention that he hunted me down like a rabid dog? I just wanted to continue my studies. Attitudes towards animancy were not what they are now, and necromancers have never met with much acceptance. But they are corpses now, and so am I. Surely that's all well enough behind us. Do you know where Rowena is? He seems to restrain another bout of chuckling. Or you could say that. If you were to retrieve my grimoire from Moedred, I'll let you in on the secret. What if I just beat the secret out of you? You could try, but then you'll just end up dead. I don't think that giving him a grimoire is a good idea, actually. So no. Alright. No, wait. We need more defensive stuff. I said, and then I'm going to do a not defensive spell, an offensive spell. Okay. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, let's do that.
Yes?
I want you to do this. Wow! Okay. Perhaps I overthought this battle. Okay. I didn't even have time to see what the hell the exposed vulnerability does. Okay. There. That. A soul prowls within the bloodstone like a caged steel gear. It's filled with a fierce, restless energy. Who are you? You see an image in your mind of a woman in heavy leather armor bearing twin daggers. Next to her is a man, young and handsome, who calls her Rowena. The vision shifts to a windswept plain next to a lake. 50 men and women in matching leathers lay dead, their bodies contorted and deformed by some sinister sorcery. Rowena falls among them, her body collapsing next to the young man you saw earlier. She is too weak to speak, but the name Dalton appears in your mind. A lone figure strides across the battlefield, barely bothering to step over their corpses. His eyes are filled with unnatural light and fixed on Rowena. He reaches out to her and what little life remained in her body departs. When he takes the amulet from around her neck, you feel her anguished soul trapped within it. Wow. Dalton sent me to find you. The soul pulses with warmth. It fills your mind with memories of a young man who's both bold and generous. But fury and despair gnaw those images away until all you can feel are cold crimson walls pressing against you and something loathsome feeding off you as the years fade into decades. What do you want? You see an image of the amulet shattering and the soul inside rising and dispatching among the stars. Yeah, we will not do that. I guess we break the item then. First, let's see. Hello? Ray of fire. Yeah, we'll learn that. I don't like that very much. But I have the money, so why not? Where is the amulet? How do I break it exactly? Maybe there is a choice, I guess, when I get out, which makes sense. Alright,
How may I
let's
help?
see. Level 2 spells. Not loving that spell. Let's see. Disrupt enemy spellcasters. Maybe I should use this. That and put that. Oh. Come on. Was it? No. I'm missing a spell. Did I get that? Then I get a ray of something. I'm pretty sure I did. What the hell? Maybe I didn't, but what? Makes no sense. I remember getting the ray of whatever. Not here for some reason. Alright, that's weird. I don't know what happened to it. Okay, let me end this episode here and we'll continue the next one. Thank you for watching, subscribe, like, leave a comment if you want to, and I will see you next time.